afternoon, everyone.
Buen día.
I hope you all doing well. It's a great pleasure to be here, and I must say, I am super happy that in an international forum like this one, an economic one, that we find space to talk about equality. This is very important. We're starting off the right way, right? Although we couldn't get the men to be on the panel with us, but the fact that we have this opportunity to all sit down, businessmen and women, to discuss equality, this is the beginning of something good, okay? I would like to start by asking you a question today. Why are we here today? Why are we talking about equality today? Why are we talking about equality in the business world? And I guess all of us could give a simple answer, and that answer is because there's no equality in the business world. Not yet. And because there's that hope, that is what we are doing here. We are here to analyze what is wrong, what has been done, what can be done better, how we, involved in the business world, can help this become better, how we can bring in more and more equality. I'm just going to give you a little bit of statistics because I have a law background, so of course I cannot work without statistics. So we have in Portugal a salary gap of 16.7%. That means that the men in Portugal earn 16.7% more than women. As for worldwide, we have over 20% of inequality on salary. So we can have a better idea on where we are and where we want to be. So we have to fight this 20% in order for us to bring equality. I want to tell you guys a little bit about Human Rights World, which is the human rights organization in which I am the founder. We decided to create Human Rights World because of a simple concept, helping. We wanted to help. I was working with many international organizations that already work for human rights, and I felt like I was not doing enough. Because in an international world, many things can become very mechanic at some point. And we do not always have that space to be a little bit more human as we want to be, even though we are in a human rights organization. It's not always possible. So what I used to do is I used to sneak out of work to give extra help to those people that were already there coming to the organization for help, because I didn't find enough space to do so. So I decided to create an organization where there was more transparency, less bureaucracy, and where people could come directly to us as people in the office, discuss the issue, and we try to find the best way to solve it without having to go through applications that will take a long time to resolve and so on. A little bit cutting on the bureaucratic aspect. Above all, I wanted to create an organization that was international, but was starting in Africa, especially regarding human rights. I know that many of us still have different looks about human rights when we talk about Africa. So I said, okay, I'm African. I want to speak for Africa when it comes to human rights. I want to know what is going on. I want to see how to solve it. I want to know what are the issues. I don't want that big organizations, for example, from Belgium, would go all the way to Angola to solve a problem that, for example, Angolans can solve. So I wanted something more representative, okay? So each people having the right to speak for themselves, analyzing the problems that they have, and if there is need of help, whether it be in terms of training or funding, then we could join with other organizations that would help. But primarily, us, helping ourselves first, and then we see where others can come in. So that's why now we have Human Rights World. We are already in over 15 countries. We are planning to expand, of course, way more, especially this year throughout Europe and Africa and Asia as well. We are not yet in the Asian continent, but we plan to expand them. So let's talk about equality, and let's talk about women. My finalist colleague here already mentioned some of the challenges that women face in the business world. I'm not going to name specific challenges because we are a little bit aware of it. We all kind of have an idea on what is going on. I'm going to try to organize these challenges or the causes of these challenges in 3 ways. First of all, we have personal, organizational, and societal. Personal is looking at the woman, because we are talking about equality, but we are actually talking about gender equality and focusing on the woman in order for her or women to achieve the same level that men have achieved. So we're talking about women. What is it that women can do in order to help this equality? So, since women are the ones most affected, what do we do as women to improve? Or how are we not helping this in the first place? Under personal aspects, I was discussing with some of my friends that are also directly involved with business, and I tried to understand their points of view. I didn't want to come up with one-sided arguments. And they mentioned many things, such as the fact that some women believe that the business world is not designed for us, or it's not for us, or that women in leadership in higher positions, especially in business, is a novelty or something new. Actually, it is not. It is not anything new. It's something that exists. And of course, the fact that we are all here today, a lot of women in business, already shows us that this is a real issue. But the woman inside the business already faces some challenges that we are here to address. When it comes to organization, we're looking at the structure at the workplace. For example, what do companies do to accommodate women? What incentives do they make to bring more women to that specific business? So this has to do with the structure of that business. What you as businessmen can do to make women feel more accommodated at the workplace. And then we have societal, which is one of the issues that most of the women pointed out when we were discussing this issue at the organization. It was very interesting. One of the men that is part of the organization, he told me, he said, he likes to call me Doctora. He said, Doctora Winy, what you don't understand is that when we speak about these qualities of a successful businessman and woman, these are qualities that we normally expect men to have, and we normally see it in men. And surprisingly enough, the other women inside of the organization agreed with him that the society doesn't generally see qualities such as assertiveness, competitiveness, as being inherently women qualities. I'm here to tell you that success in business has no gender, nor do those qualities have gender, okay? But let's move on to my favorite part. Let's talk about solutions. What are the things that we can do to better the situation? What are the things that we can do to bring more and more equality? The solutions are many, and many people study this on how we can bring more women into the workplace, not only bring women in the workplace, but make sure that women also have a more scalable positions, can acquire a higher job, making sure they're not discriminated after giving birth, for example, which is a big problem.